Let's say everything worked out, we closed the round. We often see that on LinkedIn, to close the loop if you need LinkedIn status. There's a lot of celebrations on LinkedIn, especially about closed funding rounds. How and even if we should celebrate such rounds, what do you recommend? Is it a moment to celebrate as a team to say, hey, amazing, we just got a lot of money in the bank to execute our plan? Or is it more like, oh, the game is on, the pressure is on, now we need to deliver? How do you see that?
I think it's absolutely imperative that you go and have a good celebration around this. Not a super expensive, crazy celebration, because that's not the point, right? You don't want to go and say, now we have money, let's throw it out the window for a party. But you should go and really celebrate that as a team, because the startup journey is hard. I mean, as Kai said, you're banging your head against the wall 1,000 times. Everyone in the team that is pushing, you need to have those success moments, those winning moments that you go and celebrate. And then at the same time, you need to make it clear the very next day, okay, now head down, back to doing what we're doing, because it was just another financing round. It's not more than that. We're not even close to the goal that we want to be, or as Jeff Bezos would say, it's still day one. So yeah, you have to be a bit schizophrenic about that. Go and celebrate it really passionately, and then the next day go in and say, back to work. We got goals to reach.
Straight from the party to the office.
Or that, yeah, maybe dangerous, but yeah.
Frederick, when you then have the investors on board, of course, you also have the reporting and the regular exchanges. So I wonder, after closing a Series A or B round, how does that collaboration look like with the investors? Like, how often do you send out the reporting? How often do you meet? What is sort of the best practice to then also collaborate and work with your investors?
Yeah, that's quite an important part, because ultimately, I believe you want to take your investors on the journey, right? You don't want to create a detach between, maybe what you sold them in the fundraise, and then just kind of lock them away and come back whenever you need money again, or you need something from them. So I think, especially building that trust is extremely powerful when stuff doesn't go as planned, and you don't have to, on the one hand, start a relationship from scratch, or surprise investors. Investors don't like surprises. They like being on the journey, understanding what decisions you're taking, what the outcomes of those decisions are, and then maybe the decision was wrong, and then you need to recalibrate. But having them on that journey versus it being a black box, I think that's important, especially for your larger, let's say, lead investors that you had within the specific rounds. So on the one hand, then what is too little information. Too little would be that no one really knows what's going on, especially the people who should know, who then also have that signaling effect on the other existing investors. So if your lead from the last round doesn't participate in your next round, that's a pretty dark orange flag for all the other investors on your cap table. So I think that is important. That's too little if that's not the case. Too much, I think, is something that especially has to do with your efficiency. It can really eat into your efficiency. If every month you have to create 7 different reports for your different investors, and then every investor has a quarterly ESG report that you need to fill in as well, and XYZ, then it gets quite cumbersome. So trying to also, in the agreements, that's a shareholders agreement topic, tailor the information right and streamline the information rights, and make that very clear, so that you don't have just a mix and match and a wish list from every investor joining the round that you need to deal with.
Really good recommendation. I love that. And Kai, after the funding round is usually before the next funding round. When you close it, you can finally go back and execute the plan, work on your business. But at what point do you have to start fundraising again? Because I assume it just never really stops.
Yeah, I mean, I think different people take different approaches to that. I would certainly hope not. Right? I think it's very good to, I guess, stage gate those things. And I would certainly hope you don't have to immediately go into fundraising after the last round, and you can actually execute and get to the next milestones very well. And actually, hopefully, you don't need another round, right? I mean, that is always kind of the best outcome if you reach a fantastic outcome with as little money as possible. So hopefully not would be my answer.